Hi, my name is Dan Hosier. I'm an amateur trick shot artist, and today we're going to be going over the level 1 follow shots. A follow shot is one where you hit the cue ball with top spin, causing it to intentionally follow the object ball. So let's get started. Shot 1A is a classic shot. The setup starts with the one ball about a chalk width off the point of the side pocket. I'm going to then lay my cue across so that it hits the rail where the first diamond is. So first diamond up to the rail, and that's where my cue goes. And then it's going to point at the center of the 1. I'm going to turn my 1 until the number 1 is pointing straight down the cue. And the cue ball is going to be behind the first diamond and touching the cue there. The 2 is going to be deep in the pocket, and I'm going to cheat that a little bit towards the short rail side to give myself a better chance of making the shot. For execution, I'm going to shoot at about 11:30. I'm going to shoot right through the number 1, the target that I just set up. And the cue ball should hit the 1 in. The cue ball will then go off the long rail and follow down to make the 2. Shot 1B is another classic shot. The 1 we're going to place deep in the corner here. The 15 is going to be right in between the first and second diamonds and frozen to the rail. And I'm going to set up the cue ball so that the line of centers between the cue ball and the 15 goes right through the first diamond on the rail. I'm going to keep that pretty close to the short rail because I'm going to use a rail bridge on this shot. It helps me keep from following through and hitting the cue ball twice. And with a little bit of 1230 English, we're going to shoot so that the cue ball hits directly on the 15, and then we'll follow down to make the 1. One C is a great 9-ball shot. To help set it up, I've actually set up a couple of golf tees. The white one is on the 3rd diamond, and the red one is halfway between the 3rd diamond and the side pocket. I'll be using those for setting up a few balls, and I'll point those out as I go. So let's start with the 8-ball. The 8 is going to go on the first diamond connected to the rail, and the 9 will be frozen to it into the rail. The 7 is frozen to the 9. So we have 7, 9, 8. Now I'm going to, with the line of centers, go through the 8 and connect the 6 pointing to the white T, which is the 3rd diamond. The 5 is going to go line of centers between the 6 and the red T, which is the half diamond there. And the 4 is going to be 2 balls away from the 7. The 3 is going to be 1 ball away from the 4. And the 2 is going to have the line of centers between the 4 and the 2, pointed at the 3rd diamond, my white T. And the 1, line of centers between the 3 and the 1, is going to the red T, that half diamond there. I'm going to want to place my cue ball so that the line between it and the 1 goes just to this edge, to the rail side edge of the 7. And so in the game of 9-ball, you have to hit the lowest numbered ball first, which we'll do. We'll hit the 1. And you have to make the 9 to win, which we'll also do. Here's how it's going to happen. The 1 and the 3 will get out of the way. In the process, the 1's going to hit the 2. That's going to kick the 2 and the 4 out of the way. In the process, the 2 will hit the 5. That's going to kick the 5, 6, and 8 out of the way, leaving just the 7 and the 9. The cue ball will continue off the 1 with a follow, hit the 7, pocketing the 9 in the corner pocket. We're going to shoot at 12 o'clock on the cue ball, straight through the 1 to make the 7-9 combo. Okay, before we start follow shots, we want to figure out where center of the cue ball is. So we're going to just do a couple stop shots, trying to stop the cue ball right where it is. And the reason I'm doing this is to calibrate myself to know where the center of the cue ball is, where the stop shot is. So once I feel comfortable with the stop shot, then I want to raise my aiming point on the cue ball. So here was the stop shot, center. I'm going to go a full tip up from that, and just with a nice loose backhand, shoot straight through and do the follow. So you can just, as you're practicing, instead of setting up a trick shot over and over, if you're just practicing stroke, this is a great way to do that, is to just do a nice, easy set of follow shots. I had drawn a very simple clock face on a cue ball to show what I mean when I talk about hitting at 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock or anything like that. So if this is center, hitting at 12 o'clock would be raising up, hitting at 6 o'clock would be below, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And of course you can also have 11:30 would be just to the left of 12 o'clock, 12:30 just to the right, those sorts of things. So when I say I'm hitting at 12 o'clock, I mean go right through the 12. And when I do that, I should see my chalk mark is right there at 12 o'clock. A problem I have and a lot of players have is we end up hitting too hard. There's 3 problems with that. One is your stroke is less accurate. The harder you hit, the more likely you are to try to muscle the cue through, which will cause you to lose accuracy. 2 is the effect of the hit. So here I'm going to hit just a little bit to the right with a nice gentle shot. And you can see the cue ball does go off to the right, but not that much. So what I'm going to do now is amplify that with a hard hit. And you can see the cue ball goes quite a bit further right the harder I hit. Now the final issue here is a jump. Normally a jump isn't that bad of a thing, but the harder you hit, the more likely you are to jump. If it's by the rail, you can actually jump up, hit the rail, which will cause the cue ball to go way off to the left. So let's see if I can demonstrate that.